I was a mortgage lender. It started in late 2006. Okay,
Yeah.
I stand corrected. There's 325 people here. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Um, Brokers were closing like crazy, but not many people knew they don't deal with mortgage brokers directly. Good point. Good point.
Well, Jabraz, next time you see it, let me know so I can short the spot. Because if I would have known in '06, '07, I'd be a millionaire because I had no idea. I had no
See, and
idea the
that's the
market's
thing.
going to
It's
crash.
here's the thing, and I'll put it to you like this. I think you know better, you do better, but also too, and this may be too deep for people, but like I can pinpoint and tell you when stuff is about to that's about to go.
Okay.
Because I've been in business long enough and I've talked to
Yeah.
people long enough, and like I know a lot of tow truckers, like where they tow the trucks and they have yards full of trucks
Okay.
where they've towed them and the company can't get no money back to get them. So I knew something was happening in trucking because every tow yards we don't have space, baby. And I
Okay.
said, well, is it parts? Is it breaking it down? Is it the missing chip shortage? Nah, just people abandoning the trucks. And this is happening in tow yards from Florida to New York to Texas to Oklahoma. The people I know who are in the business are like, honey, it's happening again. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, this happened the last crash where
Okay.
I just start having companies, they would abandon the truck. And then, you're like, well, don't they take it to auction when they repossess it? Oh, yeah. But then auction's delayed. So then we're all sitting with all this extra inventory. And it's like a little domino effect. And so once you really get in business and you start um, getting in rooms with certain people, you know what's up. Or the formation of super teams, right?
Yeah.
So we think that's just a kind of black YouTube thing or black Instagram thing, but I'm actually over here going to several conferences in the fall with predominantly white conferences, and they are making super teams.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They are like, come, hey, my fund's gonna partner with your fund, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna put this together, and we're gonna buy this apartment. Like I've seen an apartment in Dallas get sold 6 times. This same apartment that I saw maybe 5 years ago, that was 700,000. It was a C kind of raggedy, just sold for 3 million again.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of stuff I see in the market, but that's another day
So let
conversation.
me ask you though, the
Mhm.
truck sitting on a lot, not getting claimed again, is that a lack of liquidity in the market for those particular truckers? Are they not bringing in
Lack
enough
of
money?
liquidity,
Okay,
lack of
lack of liquidity.
liquidity.
Okay.
So what happens is, um, it's like credit lines run your business, and
Okay.
people are like, oh, Erica, what do you know? I'm like, I was in trucking for 3 years. I spent over $300,000 in repairs. I know when you see these big companies say, hey, you guys, just bring the trucks back. We're gonna have you check when you bring the truck. If you go on Facebook, all the men say, don't do it. Leave it there. They're not gonna have your check for you when you get there. They're closing. They're out of money. Like
Yeah.
the Facebook drops it for you before you even know.
Okay.
Right. And that's what's scary is like these men are on Facebook groups saying, hey, don't pick up nothing for that trucking company. It's going under. Don't pick
Okay.
up anything for that. That company's going under. And that's how fast the internet information is moving. And that's why, I'm gonna just be honest. That's why a year ago I was like, oh, I need truck parking lots. Because one thing on one level, you can charge them $100 a month per truck, right? To $200. I mean, if you're in Atlanta, $300 a month.
Yeah.
Then if they don't, they just quit on their truck. They don't pay. Don't, they got a 30-day to 60-day in some states where now you can claim an abandoned truck file and it's your truck now.
Okay.
You have the title. So now you've got a $30,000 to $50,000 asset to do something with, right? And so what people don't understand is that's a whole nother level game that I sat and talked with a dude in Atlanta, and I was like, what? He was like, oh yeah, I know what's happening right now. I just had to claim abandoned truck title on 6 trucks.
Mm.
And I said, well, what was the bill? How big was the bill? $2,000.
Dang. And they
Asked
couldn't get
another
that
guy.
money?
But think of here's the David. It's like a whole thing. It's like, let's
Okay.
say your truck needs to get the plate needs to be
Okay.
updated. You don't went now. You got illegal plates. DOT gonna get you. This
Yeah.
gonna get you. They gonna hit you, right? You're gonna get got, right? So even if you got like, let's say you have 2 grand, you go get your truck out. And this is how, like, if you look up Hood Estates and other people, this is how they got into the game. Where somebody, I don't even have enough money to pay for the repair. Hey, I'll
Yeah.
pay for the repair. Just give me the title.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is very popular. Um, they're title truck companies. Like literally, we think car titles, they have semi
Yeah.
truck
Yeah.
title.
Okay.
So so they're like, hey man, we'll work with you. Just come in and bring a little bit of money every week, right? And so there's been lawsuits because some tow companies have been abusing it, right? Instead of it being like a $2,000 tow fee, they're like, oh, it's gonna cost us 20 grand. It's gonna cost us 10 grand. So they've been milking some people. But
Okay.
now when they can't milk it because the credit lines are tightening, they bring it down like, hey man, just make payments, yo. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
don't leave the truck here. Don't leave me with a bunch of equipment that I can't use, etc., etc. So
Okay.
there's a whole show I could do, and that's why when people think they know something, I be getting like, okay, cool. Like, tell me in a year, show me who was right. When y'all have to redo them insurance this year for $2 million instead of $1 million. When you have to put 10,000 down instead of 5,000 down with Progressive to actually get in the trucking, let me know how you feel. Let me know when you want to do big boy talk, because I know it's on the wall, the writing on the wall.
Okay, but see, let me say this before you stop. This type of information that you're giving is very valuable, because this is the type of stuff that hedge funds have. They have access to like the on the ground information, and they're able to utilize that to try to figure out what kind of plays they want to make in the market. So this is what you just told me is very, very important, because on average, the average person don't have access to this type of information, so they don't know what are some of the characteristics on the ground where we can see how it's impacting the larger economy. Because everything that's going on in trucking is going to impact all of us because of the way in which we move freight around the country. So if you're seeing stress in the trucking industry, eventually that stress is going to get applied to the larger economy because of how important freight and trucking is to our society. Because if you were ever worked in any type of retail establishment, without your trucks, there is no retail.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. Go check out the railroads.
Okay.
And this is what happened in the last crash. One of my family members got into the railroad stock and it went back up. Go check out railroads hiring positions in Florida and California.
Okay.
They just posted thousands of jobs. Because when trucking goes down, companies will go, well, we'll spend a little bit more money, save us some time, headache, and use the railroad.
Okay, use rail. Okay.
So all the railroad stocks that like tripled last time we had a recession, trust me. I know people who literally their job is they work on the railroad as I guess you call them engineer or whatever you call them.
Yeah.
He ain't letting that job go.
Yeah.
And he's got a side business that brings in $500,000. And people are like, man, get on out of here, man. You got a business, man. He's like, do y'all know what happens when there's a recession? Like, they give us bonuses. They give us all kind of crazy stuff to keep us in the railroad. We train people. We get to travel. Like, it's a lit job. And I only got to be here 3 days a week. So 3-4 days a week. I think it's like real long hours though. So I just want y'all to pay attention. The money moves around. It don't stop moving. It moves around.
It moves around. You're right. Yeah, I know a chick was working for CSX, I think out in Tampa. She was making real good money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was killing it. And then she got stock options. Okay. You know what I mean? Like if she kept them, some people sell their stuff, but if she was smart and she kept them, I'm just telling you, pay attention. Facebook and a lot of these companies are building whole little cities right by the office because they aren't going to be able to control the amount of inflation or how much stuff is going to cost outside of their little bubble.
Yeah.
Why do you think they're doing that, right? And so again, pay attention, y'all. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know what date or when, but I can go hop on Facebook and go feel the vibe out of stuff like even lower level companies, right? Like cleaning companies. People are like, why are that so important? Well, first of all the offices emptied out. And I don't know if you know anything about offices. They're just like any other building. You can't let it just sit and rot into the ground. Like, somebody has to go in there and clean. They wiping down empty offices, flush all the toilets, do all this stuff. And that's why a lot of people got government covered cleaning tracks for these empty buildings. And the company's willing to pay you these $16,000 a month contracts with nobody in a whole building. Why?
Yeah.
Because you have to keep the water moving around. You got to keep the lights going on and off. Somebody has to keep maintaining these places. And that's a big reason why a lot of y'all are going back to work, not just because the economy, you know what I mean? So,
I feel you. Okay.
But I don't want to bore y'all to death. But thank you, Aesthetics Guru, for the $20 super chat. I try to bring worthwhile information. I try to tell y'all what I'm seeing on the ground. And one of the biggest things I've learned in this career of being on the internet is to pivot, when to pivot, how to pivot. Pay attention to industries that people flock to. Why are they flocking to that? And then why do they all of a sudden leave it? Pay attention. We could agree to disagree on that for sure. If you, Geechee Dan, I know you might be in South Carolina, but I'm in Texas, and we have a ton of these warehouses that are brand new, and you're thinking, oh, they're empty. I can go by and see them. No, they're full of Alibaba.